There we are. I think we're live, Katharine. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
I think I'm 2 minutes late this morning. I've been running around like a headless chicken today. Okay, so I'm going to just double check that we're live by going to my second computer, and then we'll introduce and chat and do our thing. Get all the technology that I do single-handedly normally, Let's have a look. Oh my goodness me. Not quite showing it yet. Let's give it a second to load. You have that little time delay. There we go. And we are live. All right, let's see if anyone's joined us yet. No one's joined us yet, probably because I'm also running a bit late, but yeah, there you go. I'll keep you in the loop, Katharine, as people join up. But we are definitely live. All right, so today we've got Katharine Bork, who is the author in the 11 Pearls of Wisdom book, and you wrote the red pearl, Katharine.
That's right, yes.
And we're going to chat about your contribution in this book today, and we are going to show people what it looks like to be in the book and talk about what it's like to be an author in the book. And I wanted to really start off today's show by giving thank yous. I said to Katharine when we started the show, I didn't want to do thank yous at the end of the show. When you all kind of had your reading and you're off, I wanted to take a moment to just genuinely thank all the beautiful people who contributed towards this book, and the authors, each one of the 11 authors, including myself, who were brave enough to turn up and contribute a chapter. For most of the authors, by the way, it was the first time they ever wrote anything in their lives and got published, so it was a huge step for them. I'd like to thank the person who pulled it all together, kind of got the vision of it out of my head and got it into this, and that's Amy Bell. You did an extraordinary job. I want to say again, thank you so much for being the designer and the person who kind of pulled it together, the person who got it loaded and available for sale on Amazon. Really deeply appreciate Amy for the work that she did. She really had great vision, and the design and the layout of it is just stunning. I want to thank the editors. The main editor was Deborah. Deborah, thank you so much. And then Karani came on, and she also helped us out. And all the beautiful photographers. I mean, if you look at this book and all the beautiful photographs in it, the photographers did an amazing job. And we actually at the back gave them each a little mention. So if you are drawn to a particular energy photographer, you can join. And then of course we had our foreword by Christopher May, and that was beautiful. And we also had the dedication to Wayne Mooland and his family, to thank them again for allowing us to to use him as our dedication and dedicate the book to. So just an incredible amount of people. And then of course we can't say thank you without saying thank you to everybody who purchased a copy. And remember, there's still something to do when you've purchased your copy, and that is to pass it on. Don't let it sit on the shelf gathering dust. This is a book that needs to be mobile. Pass it on and give it to somebody who needs it. Give it an organization, put it where there's a coffee table, go and put it down, let it out into the world. And I think I have managed to thank about everybody in the book except my family, because this was a project and a half, and my family kept me together. My husband and my son Michael, thank you so much. You guys really helped to kind of make this happen, because it was a process that got interrupted with COVID, and it kind of had to sit on a shelf for a while. And yeah, and I like to start and finish things. I don't like things to lie stagnant for a while. And I had to learn about time, God's time, not my time. So it was a very hard process, and my family stood by me with that. So thank you so much for that. So that's the thank yous I really wanted to give right at the beginning of the show today. I hope I haven't missed anybody. Oh, fabulous. Let's have a quick look who's joined us here, Katharine. We have Anne. Hi, Anne, and Diane Ramsey Arthur from the UK. Hi, Diane. Nice to see you here. Suzanne Buggins. Hi. Susanna and I've been having a little chat about things. And then Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Aurelia from Denmark. And hello, Dawn. Hi, nice. We've been chatting this morning as well. Norma Jean. Hi, Norma Jean. Nice to see you here. So welcome, and just thank you so much. And please share the show on your timelines and in groups so people know that we're gathering and having a conversation. So before we get going with the interview, audience, remember that you can pick a number today. It's going to be a dragon reading. So depending on which number you pick, you're going to have a message from a color dragon. So are you drawn to number 1, number 2, or number 3? Pop it into the comments box so we know what you're drawn to. Katharine, which one are you drawn to?
Number 2.
Number 2. Excellent. Fabulous. Okay. So Katharine is drawn to 2. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay, Katharine. Okay, let's have a little chat about this fabulous chapter you wrote. You wrote the meet the author of your life story, and look at that beautiful photograph, guys. Isn't that just stunning? She took such a beautiful photograph. We met, I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken, at, I think it was Susan's house as well. I was invited to her house and she said she was inviting a group of friends, and she asked me to introduce the Color Mirror Assistant to them. I'd only just arrived in Canada at that time, and you were there. I don't know, was your sister with you as well?
She wasn't. No, one of my really, really good friends, Shelley, was with me.
Shelley was with you. That's right. Yes, I remember somebody was with you, and I ended up having such a fun day. We kind of all gathered around the kitchen counter and island and played with bottles, and what was supposed to be like an hour presentation, I think I was there for quite a few hours. And that's kind of how we met. And since then you have fully invested your energy and time in the Color Mirrors work. You've just about done every single course there is, and you are now very well known for holding groups of women together, bringing groups of women together, and presenting programs and self-development courses. So and that's up here, that's here in Canada and Ontario, just north of where I live, actually. Yeah. So that's kind of how I know you, and I'm so grateful that we met and that you saw color.
Oh yes, it's changed my world, right?
And of course you and Greg have become grandparents for the first time. What's that like?
Oh, beyond words. It's that my son and daughter-in-law, this little Mabel, arrived in our lives in May, and oh my gosh, it has changed our family, that love you feel. And one of the most amazing things for me is to watch my kids, my son and my daughter-in-law, fall in love with their little girl. It's just at next level. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. And you don't have to do all the nappies. That's one of the perks of being grandma.
It's a very different kind of thing. You just get to love on her, and it's just beautiful. And she brings so much joy.
Oh, that's wonderful, darling. Okay, well, congratulations to all the family. Now let's have a look at your chapter. Your chapter is based on the stories that we create, and these stories become our belief system. They become the filter we experience and judge and kind of gauge everything through. And you know, you really wrote about how you gained an understanding when you decided to change your story, when you decided to you know, to change the narrative, and then that resulted in how you actually communicated and interacted with your family. And of course, you come from a really large family. How many kids were you again in the family?
I was the oldest of 6 girls, and then we have a very close extended family, as my sister had her family, my sisters, and myself. I have 2 boys. So yeah, family's a big thing in our
and our holidays and special birthdays, and any time you can, you guys get together, and we know that you're off the radar for work because it's all about family. So it was actually quite appropriate that you became the red pearl, which is very orientated. Red is kind of a family tribal moment. Now, what I want to know is if you can let the audience know, let the viewers know, what example can you give us of something that you overcome, a story that you changed your belief around, that you changed your mind around, and kind of how did that impact your relationships? What was one of those stories you kind of held on to and then it changed when you became aware of it?
Yeah, a significant one that really taught me a lot was when I became a mom. You know, I had these 2 boys I was raising, and based on my experiences at this point, I thought, oh my gosh, I have all the answers. I know what's best for them. I know what, I'm their mom. And my intention was to protect them, to shelter them from pain or challenges and make their life, because I love them so much. And that belief system sent me on a journey. And the discovery of that is there's no truth to that at all. In fact, the challenges, the failures per se in our lives is what makes us unique, and what makes us who we are, and how we develop our gifts and what we give back. So that was a long discovery journey that I would say started off with that belief system that I realized, oh my gosh, there's no truth to this at all. And then discovered on the other side of that what truly being a parent is all about, and truly being a, holding on to belief systems that don't serve us.
Yeah.
So,
and especially since we would bring our children up according to how our parents brought us up, and it's like, well, they did it that way, so we do it that way. And until we have a moment of clarity that just says, oh, this is not working so well.
yeah.
I need to change my story and my belief. Yeah.
And based on my struggles, I was trying to protect them from that, which is, crazy. They're on their own unique journey.
They are.
As I am. So they taught me. My kids taught me a lot.
Why do you think why do we create these stories and kind of gets us stuck with it? And when you come across this with your clients, how do you help them get out of it? How do you help them to change that story?
I think that we create the stories, or I believe we create the stories to defend our actions and our choices so that we feel better. And you can create that story, and then when it is no longer again serving you, you're going to be stuck. And the way you're stuck is that your reality will show you repeated patterns. So let's say you have something that you're trying to change, and you take all kinds of opportunities of doing things differently, and the result is the same, or the unwanted feelings are the same, or the pattern is the same. That's when you're stuck. So how I would say, what I would guide my clients to do is to become present, because that mind dialogue that goes over and over again, we have these thoughts, we have these words that we say and do. But when you're present and you become very conscious and aware of the words that you speak, if they are not in your highest and greatest good, change them, change that dialogue. And one of a quick little thing that I use is when I see these patterns repeating in my life, and I am going through that and struggling, I ask a very simple question. How is this being done for me instead of to me? And that just
repeat that again.
How is
this?
Sorry?
Yeah, because I think we actually put it in the book.
I did. It's a quick thing to take me out of that and change my perspective, because I feel like I'm a victim. This is all happening to me. And if you just change the perspective of how is this being done for me? Is there a silver nugget? Is there a golden nugget? Is there a lesson here for me? Because invariably I've created it. So the quicker I can see how it's being done for me, the quicker I can move through it.
Oh, I love that. So for our audience, this is a really good moment to just pause and just take a deep breath and just feel, what story are you clinging on to? The clue is there a pattern that's repeating, the same outcomes are coming your way and you're getting frustrated? A way to get out of this, Katharine's suggesting here that you, instead of feeling like a victim of what's going on, just feel, how is this being done for me? And that will help begin to shift that mindset. Because one of the things our stories, I think, do, Katharine, that creates the most damage for us, is it sets us on a path to prove we're right, that we have to defend ourselves. We have to defend this belief and the story we have. And we have, and then of course, when you have to be right, that's when you end up getting into trouble, because you're not in that flow and you're not surrendering to the flow of what the universe thinks is right for you or what's for your highest good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So audience, have a moment to ponder that, and hopefully this is a little bit of pearl wisdom from Katharine today that's going to be helping you with something right now. And please also remember, for an extra message at the end of the show, pick 1, 2, or 3, and we're going to give you a little dragon message. So in color mirrors, we've got red bottles. So I want to talk a little bit about the pearl bottle now, Katharine. We've got this one, for example, which is C1, and it's red at the bottom and it's coral on top. And I remember that, red is about survival, and it's about often points out when there's a fear or a feeling of being a victim, or some kind of family struggle going on. And Michael came to me, my son came to me one day, and he said, Mom, I'm looking for a solid red bottle, and there just isn't one in the color mirror system. And, if you look at the red bottles, like this one, for example, has got coral on top of the red. There wasn't one that had red on red. And he said that's strange, because in the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, there's a yellow bottle that is solid, number one. There's a blue bottle that is solid, number two. So you got top fraction and bottom fraction, giving you a solid bottle, not two tones. And he said, no, he's got to ask Melissa to make a bottle for him. So he did. He requested it, but then he also added that he wanted to be a pearl energy. And that is how the red pearl came to be. She actually made it for Michael. And when it arrived, something in me shifted. They're seeing the solid red stuff. It's like I can't get away from the red because there's another color diffusing or changing the energy. It was like it was sitting there in your face, red on red. And it did something for me. And it was a bottle that that had to be part of the 11 pearls. It really just it wasn't the original pearls Melissa brought to us in that workshop that we did with her in 2018. This is something that came a little bit later. How do you feel about this pearl bottle, and do you have a favorite red bottle, Katharine? Tell us a bit about your relationship with red.
With red. Okay, so when I was writing the chapter, and it came together, and you had said that once we got our chapters, they were going to come to you, and you and Amy were going to read them and then assign the bottles. I wasn't surprised. I thought I was either going to be, once my chapter came together, I thought I was either going to be the red or the copper. So I wasn't surprised by that. Now, red is a color that I'm not particularly drawn to. And I don't have it. In fact, I had to borrow this from my sister. I don't wear red. and that, but when I think of the color red, and when my clients pick the color red, and even my own red story or my red journey, I would say the word that comes to mind is reverence. I have a deep respect for the color red, because I think it brings up those human challenges, like the fears, the emotions, the material conflicts. And so I have a deep respect of what it can bring to the surface and allow you to heal. So that's my relationship with red. And I would say one of my favorite red bottles in the color mirror system is number 12.
Oh, so again, not a solid red with another color.
It's that heaven on earth. And I think it's because of its message, that you can, because we are the creator of our realities, we get to create, and you don't have to wait to experience heaven by leaving the planet. You can actually create your heaven here on earth based on your view of your judgments, letting go, and how you want to create, what you want to create. So that's kind of my my go-to red bottle.
Oh, lovely. Heaven on earth, and that's that violet. Just hold it up again for them to have a look at, our viewers. So it's got violet on top and it's got red at the bottom. So violet is your spiritual work and the red is your material work, and the two comes together and you work towards building heaven on earth. Love that, Katharine. Thank you so much. Okay. So before I go on to our next question, let's just tune in here and have a little look-see at our audience. We've also had, okay, let me add, we've got quite a lot of comments here. That's lovely. And Christine, your sister's in. Christine, the girls are watching. Oh, and your nieces, lovely. Oh, what a beautiful family, hey? So they are so beautiful. I follow the Cassie's stories and their travels and their photographs. I just love you guys. Love watching, and the girls' birthdays you've been having recently. And you're picking 3. Dawn is picking 3. Joanne is picking 2, like you, Katharine. And Diane is picking 3. Susanna, number 2. Aurelia. Oh, we finally have a number 1, Aurelia. Thank you. Cool. We have a number 1. Yvonne is picking 3. Yvonne Kota. Hi, Yvonne. And Jane says Grandma Red. Michael's picking Grandma Red. Great reminder, Red. What a swift perspective change it brings. Joanna does, what Katharine was saying there is when you pick Red, she has this reverence for people who pick Red because it kind of means that they're wanting a quick shift. They want things to move fast, which is a dichotomy of sort because Red is like the lowest vibrations, lowest frequency. Violet is a faster frequency. But it does that. Amy's come on. Hi, Amy. Amy, you got to go back to the beginning of the show. Hey? I did some thank yous for the book, and I mentioned you there. Hi, Sherry. She's joined us. Amy's put a link in to purchase the book. That's fantastic. If you haven't yet purchased it, please do, because we really do rely on. It's a non-profit. The authors again, remind you, the authors are not earning any royalties from this book. Literally, it is just we just want the book to go out and help people, and its messages to inspire. Amy says, so many of my clients lately are loving number 12, Heaven on Earth. Yeah. Amy, you've also picked number 2. Christine says, Ella has picked 1, and Meg, Jules, and I are 3. Okay, so there's the girls' choices. So 1 and 3 are active in the Cassie family. Fabulous. Katharine, what was it like for you to be a part of this project, and having your photograph taken and appearing and writing a story, and what would would you recommend somebody do this? What was it like for you to become an author?
I highly recommend it, but there's a little bit of a story to this that I'd like to share. So when I think it was back in 2019 when the collaborative book idea was sort of forming. And at that point, I was on a mentoring program with a group, and we had a group of people meet with you once a week and loved it. It was wonderful. And during one of the meetings, you brought up the idea of a collaborative book. And that sent me on a complete resistance. I wanted nothing to do with that. In fact, it was so outside my comfort zone. I just thought, oh my gosh, I want nothing to do with this. I have nothing to say. I'm not a writer. Oh my goodness. So complete fear. To the point where I decided that for the next couple of weeks, I probably won't go to the mentoring. This is full disclosure now. Won't go to the mentoring meeting, in the hopes that that'll just pass and the book group will already be started. So only to find out that when I returned to the mentoring program, it was the meeting that you had the 2 editors show up to present. So I landed right in the middle of it. Anyway, the long and the short of the story is that I am now on this book program. So the experience, that was my challenge. That was really getting over that whole fear thing and the resistance to it. The actual writing of it was quite enjoyable, and it flowed very easily for me. So I remember I had an idea of what I wanted to say. I had a little few notes jotted down on a piece of paper, but I remember sitting down with my computer one afternoon and just started typing. And the chapter was born like right there that day. So I thought, wow, this is pretty interesting. And then what happened is COVID came and that book program got put on hold for a bit. So I tucked away my chapter. And then what was it, Moira, when it took up again? Was it? The
end of beginning of 2021, we started picking it up again. Yeah. And started the editing, and
yeah, so a couple of years had passed, right? So when it started back up again, I went like, oh my gosh, a couple of years have passed. I have changed. So certainly I'm gonna have to rewrite my whole chapter. But the beautiful thing about when I pulled the chapter out and I read it, I was like, first of all, who wrote this? And so much so that I was moved to emotion. And it was like, oh wow, this is, I'm really proud of this. And I didn't have to change anything. It fit right in with the Pearls of Wisdom book. And so that was my journey with this.
Yeah. Would you write again?
So to answer your question, yes, I do. I highly recommend someone going through the process of writing.
And would you write again?
I will not say no to that. That is
checking your resistance.
Yeah. I will not say no to that.
I mean, the whole idea of creating a collaborative book at that time was I had found a lot of resistance in writing books myself, but the joy of when you get published and it goes out and then the feedback comes from people who read what you've written and said, oh, this really inspired me, or something you said has changed something for me. That is just priceless. So I wanted to pass on that experience, you know, to the Calamira's family, and really that was the intention, just for you guys to have that same process. And I know it heals something in you every time you write and every time you share, and especially in the publishing and going public with your family and your closest family, who, you know, if you think about it, your spiritual, your self-development journey, it's a private journey and something you don't talk about at the family barbecues. But somehow in a book, you're putting that out there, and you know your family could pick the book up and read it. And of course, I had that experience. My father, of all the people in the world, who, you know, he is an avid reader, but I'd never thought he would pick up a book like this, read it from cover to cover and loved it. And it gave me heart palpitations for a while, because I thought, oh my God, he's going to read stuff that he probably doesn't know about me in my chapter, because I'm an author in the book. And so even in that process, there was a healing moment for me.
Huge.
So, yeah. So I'm so pleased you did this, and it wouldn't have been the same without having you in the book. Honestly, it was just a pleasure to have you in the book with us. I'm going to check to see if anybody has any questions for you, but I'd also like you to see if you have anything, another pearl of wisdom to offer the viewers today. You know, if they're having a family struggle, if there is a bit of a dynamic push and pull thing going on, what can you help them with? What can you offer?
Okay, so my pearl of wisdom for today that I would share is rewrite your story. Rewrite your stories. So if you are, you know, pay attention to the words that you are speaking, and if they're not serving you, rewrite them. And I do have a little practice that I do that I find quite helpful. So just, you know, when you're tucking yourself in bed and you're just about to drift off to sleep, have a little reflection back on your day. And if, you know, take a look at your conversations, your interactions, and sort of do a little scan. And if they were not the way you wish they would be, take a moment to rewrite them, just a redo to the way you wish they had the exchange. You know, because it's so often easy to, you know, lay your head down at night and go through the mind chatter of everything, the worries, what you have to do, the challenges. But if you take that moment, because really it's just your perspective, and if you can change that and lock that into your subconscious, drift off to sleep, and then see what happens with your relationships the next day. And maybe just the person that disappointed you today will not tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Words of wisdom from our Red Pearl author, Katharine. Thank you. Love it. Absolutely love it. Whew, okay. Amy says that she had no idea that you had so much resistance to the book.
Good, Amy.
Oh, golly me, what is she saying? Yeah, I'm so happy that you were, in the end, that, you know, you were inspired to do it. She's saying that, and grateful to have been part of the stories and the profound stories. And we've got Alexa, Katharine, any pearls of wisdom for new parents? Since you're a grandma and you're watching your kids. Alexa, Katharine, any pearls of wisdom for new parents? Because, you know, the parents are the ones who are going to plant those stories in that child's head, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say go inward for your answers of what's right and wrong, or not even wrong, but what you should do. You know, so much is, when you're a new parent, is based on what somebody said or what you read or what you heard or what's the best way. Really go into what is right for me. What decisions are right for me? And the other thing is, I remember being a new parent and being caught up in all the doing. I have to do, I have to go, and being busy. Just take those quiet moments to reflect and really look at your child, really soak it all in. I remember sometimes, the boys would be coming down the stairs and I would take a glance at them and go, okay, where did you come from? What happened? Like, time just goes. So really slow it down and log in those moments, those great moments, be present and really, connect. And give yourself credit. There is nothing you're going to do wrong. Kids are resilient. Just love them.
Oh, that's beautiful, Katharine. Thank you. You're getting lots of hearts for that one. I love that, Katharine, who says you can't change your story. Lovely, beautifully said from Joanne. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's great. So anybody watching the recording, hopefully these pearls of wisdom that Katharine's been dropping for you is going to be useful in some way. I love what you said about being present, because they do grow up so fast. And the most I had Michael, one child, and the most beautiful memories I have was when I was fully present, and I soaked up the emotion, the visuals, the smells, the sounds of that moment, and it amplified it and made it stay longer and stick in my memory. Whereas when I was very busy doing and just, getting on with life, there's so many moments I've now missed. I didn't have that mindset at that time to be more present with him as he was growing up. But definitely the ones I just soaked up and spent time being in. Oh man, those are like super memories.
Huge. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a reading for everybody. So depending on whether you pick 1, 2, or 3, you are getting a dragon reading today. So let's switch over to the camera here and let's have a look what we've got going. For those of you who picked number 1, I know Aurelia, you picked number 1, you have this week the pink dragon. So the pink dragon is the dragon first of all, explain a little bit about the dragons. The dragons are energies that come with fire power. They come with element power. They come with earth power. They're very earth orientated. They're very connected to the earth. And some of them are very connected to the heavens, and they're able to bring that energy to the earth. So what they do is, we call them the last wall of resistance. So if you've been resisting something, the dragons come forward and appear to say, this is where you need to change your resistance. And Katharine was talking about resisting becoming an author in the book. So this is a good conversation to have about dragons, is look at today's messages. Where are you resisting the pink love? So if you've chosen number 1, think to yourself, where are you resisting loving yourself, or being kinder or more gentler with yourself, or opening up to an opportunity of more romance or more love or more forgiveness, because those are kind of the energies that come with pink. The pink dragon particularly is a dragon that can take you down your timeline and help you heal any leftover wounds that you have as an inner, when you had it as a child, whether you're a little boy or a little girl, what were the wounds you had? And this dragon will just kind of use his fire energy and just blast it all away. But there's another thing to this dragon, which is quite cute, and it's nicknamed the Disney dragon. So it's also about sparking some kind of Barbie energy. Barbie is all pink and it's in the movies and it's the thing of the moment. So it's kind of being a bit silly. So if you haven't yet gone to watch the Barbie movie, and no, I do not get paid royalties for promoting the movie, but it's fun, it's light, it's kind of a thing you want to be doing this week, is do something light and fun. Go see the Barbie movie. Hope that's useful for those of you who picked number 1. How's that, Katharine?
Perfect.
You pick number 2. Number 2 is the white dragon.
Oh.
The white dragon is the rainbow dragon. So this is a dragon that brings if you have a problem right now, you don't know which way to turn, and like we were talking in the interview earlier around being in a mindset or being stuck in a story, and you're not sure how to change it, this is probably a go-to bottle, because it holds all the colors and it can point in any direction. It can resolve any problem that you have. It's kind of a fix-all antibiotic, if you want to put it that way. But this is again dragon energy. So the dragon comes in here and says, why are you resisting change? And of course, it's a mirror as well. Why are you resisting looking in the mirror? Because they are the solutions. So for those of you who picked number 2 this week, know that there is a solution to whatever problem is facing you right now, but you might need to look through or at that problem with a different mindset, look it through a different mirror, change the reflections that you are seeing. I hope that's useful. Is there anything you can add to that, Katharine? Because this is kind of your dragon bottle for the week. Does that make sense? Or
it totally makes sense. And again, remember that you are the power in your life and you have the ability to change. If it's not, it's having the look at that mirror and changing it.
Fabulous. There we go. You heard it. And those of you who picked number 3, you have got the turquoise dragon. And that is the dragon of the future. It's a lovely way to end season 2 on Color Chats, to think about the future. And season 2 is coming to an end today. This is the last show for a couple of months. I'm going to put it to rest and get on with some other things that need my priority. So turquoise says, well, what about the future? What's next? What are we going to do for season 3? What's the next book project? What's the next thing? So those of you in 3, you're in that space where you're contemplating the next big thing. What is the next thing I want to do with my life? What's the next trip I want to take? What's the next commitment I want to make? It really is, what is the next big thing in my life? And the turquoise dragon is a watery dragon. So this is one that says, take your time. Don't push things, don't rush things, flow. Water flows. The minute you try and dam water up, the dams can burst with the pressure. The minute you try and contain water and you've got a leaky bucket, it's going to run out anyway. So water is meant to just be enjoyed and float. It's literally get on a surfboard, ride that wave and see where it lands you. So don't push the ideas for the future. Allow this dragon to nurture it and strengthen the visions, the feelings you have, the hopes you have for the future, and then let it manifest it and put it in front of you one day very, very soon. So I hope that is useful for those of you who have picked number 3. Think about the future, but you don't need to push it. It's going to happen anyway. This dragon flows and brings it to you. It's actually a great dragon, this one, because it's water and fire mixed together, so it's a very powerful energy to have the turquoise dragon helping you focus on the future. And there we have it, my girl. And except to say that, yay, we are going to write another book, The 11 Dragons of Wisdom, and we'll start working on this project in the fall. I will be contacting all the authors who've indicated an interest. We've actually have more than 11 authors now. We already started a waiting list, and we'll be contacting you and setting up the first meetings in the fall, and get going with writing the next wisdom book.
So exciting. So exciting.
It's quite a fun image. It's going to kind of have that pastel-y inner child kind of energy and healing to it. This is a concept. It's not the actual cover dragon what's going to look like. We are going to have somebody actually custom make us one, but this just gives you the energy and the idea behind the project. You want to write for the dragon book, Katharine? Have you got resistance? Let the dragon fire come out.
I do love the dragons. They are my favorite.
Thank you so much for being on the show and for coming to share more of your wisdom. It's always such a pleasure to have you, and in a bubble of conversations, because whenever we do get together and we talk, I always get a lot of insights and a lot of healing from you as well, and I really appreciate it very much.
I appreciate you, Moira. Thank you, and thank you to all that tuned in and that bought the book and support. It's wonderful.
So thank you for all the authors who participated, and Amy who participated in the season 2 Color Chats. And thank you to all the viewers in the group who support and share and comment and learn from it. I really appreciate it. And I haven't yet figured out what we're doing in season 3. It's going to be one of those. I'll leave it to because I had Dragon 3 for the future. I was thinking about that. I'll see what presents at the time, but it'll definitely involve color mirrors and color chats. So have a wonderful rest of your day. It's holiday here in Canada. Enjoy those of you who are lucky enough to have the day off. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Katharine.
Thank you. Thank you.